Peter's retro flat cap isn't a fashion choice. It's protection, a partial disguise. We can't show his face or mention his full name.
There are people who want to hurt you?
Yes.
Peter's job is freeing slaves.
I have been involved in 286 rescues.
That's made enemies and inspired threats.
They want me to spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair.
Peter's giving us a tour of Birmingham's dark underbelly, in the UK's second largest city, on regular looking roads, inside ordinary looking houses. He helps uncover appalling hidden crimes, building trust with victims, moving them to safety. His stories are about real people, enslaved, exploited, controlled with unimaginable violence.
When a young female was tied up because she refused to do what the traffickers ask her to do, which is being involved in prostitution. She was tied up with a barbed wire, and some parts of her body have been put on fire.
But one case stands out for its extraordinary scale.
This is where some of those people were rescued?
Yeah, the first victims.
The first people Peter ever rescued eventually led police to break up the UK's biggest known modern slavery operation. These gang members all came from Poland, so did their victims. They targeted people with few options and convinced them to travel to the UK for a better life. But this was the reality when they arrived. Filthy, slum-like conditions, threats, violence, forced labour for almost no pay. The victims were put to work for unsuspecting businesses while the gang collected wages through bank accounts they controlled. Police believe they made millions of pounds. Gang members brazenly and foolishly flaunted their wealth. One bought a Bentley. Peter and his colleagues at the anti-slavery charity Hope for Justice worked the case from their secret operations room. Together, they and the police identified 92 victims, but the gang is suspected of trafficking hundreds more.
I'm afraid that still so many people believe that slavery was ended 250 years ago and doesn't exist anymore.
Peter takes us to a centre that helps hundreds of homeless people in Birmingham every day. He says this is where many former slaves end up after their captors can no longer make money from them. This centre has identified 45 slavery victims in the last year alone.
So this recent prosecution, this gang, it's not a one-off?
No. There are more gangs who are still operating. We won the battle, but the war is not over yet.
British authorities believe slavery is a booming trade across the country, likely involving tens of thousands of victims. Peter says he'll continue working, defying threats, helping to free scared, vulnerable people one at a time.
Victims.
Bill Black, CNN, Birmingham, England.
If the president was not telling these four congresswomen to return to their supposed countries of origin, to which countries was he referring?
What's your ethnicity?
He said go home. Why is that relevant?
No, because I'm asking you a question. My ancestors are from Ireland and Italy.
My own ethnicity is not relevant to the question I'm asking.
No, it is, because you're asking about, he said originally. He said originally from.
I am asking.
And you know everything he has said since, and to have a full conversation.
Are you saying that the president was telling the Palestinian...
The president's already commented on that.
To go back to the occupied territory?
The president's already commented on that, and he said a lot about this since that one tweet. No, he's put out a lot of tweets, and he made himself available to all of you yesterday.
He has not, no, just to the pool.
Yes, he has. He's tired. A lot of us are sick and tired of this country, of America coming last, to people who swore an oath of office. Sick and tired of our military being denigrated. Sick and tired of the Customs and Border Patrol people, the protection people I was with, who are overwhelmingly Hispanic, by the way, in McAllen, Texas. Sick and tired of them no, you don't understand, because you didn't go. Being criticized, being doxxed. by a bunch of Hollywood D-listers who have nothing else to do but sit on their asses on Twitter all day and try to dox brave men and women who are diving into the Rio Grande to save people who are drowning, who are taking other people's babies into custody and diapering them and feeding them and looking the other way while people are running across with drugs. That's going on.
To which countries was the president referring? To which countries?